we often speak of roti, kapda, or makan, with roti, food, being the first component. We eat to live, although it's also true that some people live to eat. Over and above its basic function to keep us alive and active, food has become a subject of much discussion and debate, and hence, a conference of this nature, we have heard many interesting, insightful, and scholarly presentations on the social, political, economic, religious, ethical, and spiritual dimensions of food that tend to either humanize people or dehumanize them, unite them, or divide them. India is a land of feasting and fasting. Each state, each region has its own cuisine, their dishes being gastronomic delights. Moreover, all the religions in India too have their periods of feasting and fasting, their food prescriptions and proscriptions. In India, there is no shortage of food, and yet millions cannot afford to have one square meal a day. It is sad that despite the great amount of food that is produced in India, on the one hand, farmers do not get just recompense for their labor, and on the other hand, India ranks 107th out of 121 countries in the Global Hunger Index. Jnanadeep being an institute that mainly trains Christian men and women for service in society, permit me to mention a couple of thoughts from the field of Christian theology, which is of my interest. The Bible has innumerable references to food, eating, fasting, table fellowship, and so on. From the beginning of the Bible, in the very first chapter of the book of Genesis, God is seen as an Annadatta, a creator of all things, who gives food to people to eat and to live. And at the end, the book of Revelation, chapter 19, there is mention of the afterlife being like a wedding feast. Mahatma Gandhi said, "There are people in the world so hungry that God cannot appear to them except in the form of bread." Jesus said, "I am the bread of life," and went about his mission associating and dining with groups of people who were considered ritually impure and therefore ostracized from so-called pure society. Food and table fellowship were central in the life of Christ. He nourished people with his words and works and challenged many dietary norms and customs of his time. Ultimately, one of the reasons for him to be condemned and crucified was his friendship and table fellowship with those on the margins of society. Today, food has become not only a hotly debated topic, but has become the cause of division and strife in India. Even worse, it is being used as an excuse for violence and even murder. Most often, such animosity is aimed against the weaker sections of society, the minorities, Dalits and Adivasis. Yet, it is heartening to note that on the one hand, there are many individuals, communities, and institutions committed to feeding the hungry, and on the other hand, there are others advocating with governments to implement food policies so that no one will go hungry or remain malnourished. As a premier institution of philosophy and theology, Jnanadeep has been committed to engage in dialogue with institutions and people of goodwill to improve the quality of life of people, especially the weak and vulnerable segments of society. As fruit of participating in a conference like this, it is my sincere hope that we will all continue interacting with each other and through our dialogue come up with initiatives that will improve the lot of those who remain hungry or malnourished. I sincerely thank the organizers of this program, especially Dr. Nishant, Dr. Sebastian, Dr. Clement, Father Lijo George, and all those who have contributed in various ways on stage and behind the scenes. Special thanks to all those who have come from afar and presented papers at the conference, and those who we connected with through the internet. Your erudition and contribution have certainly enriched us. We hope that the dialogue initiated in this forum will continue even after the conference. May our lives continue being a source of nourishment to all those we encounter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Francis Gonsalves. I ask you to take your seat on the dais. I also call upon Professor Dr. Nishant A. Irudayadasan, the Dean of Philosophy, to take his seat on the dais. Now it's time for the felicitation ceremony. As a token of gratitude, I request Professor Dr. Francis Gonsalves, our president, to present a shawl to Dr. Dinesh Braganza for handling the media. I call upon Father Dinesh to come up on the stage. I also call upon the coordinator of this seminar, Dr. V. Sebastian, to come up on the stage and receive a shawl. As a token of our gratitude, I also call upon Dr. Clement Jesudas and Lijo George to come up on the stage. I ask Father Nishant Irudayadasan to present the token. On behalf of the student representative of the organizing committee, I call upon Lindsay Lobo to receive the token. I also call upon the student representative of the Media Association, Vinod Balakumar, to receive the token. Please give him a round of applause. Now, as a token of recognition, we will be giving certificates to the presenters. I ask Professor Dr. Francis Gonsalves, President of Jnanadeepa, to give away the certificates. Kindly come up on the stage as I call on your names. Dr. Amrendra Pandey, Professor Dr. Nishant A. Irudayadasan, Dr. V. Sebastian, Dr. Asim Siddiqui, Professor Dr. Kuruvilla Pandikattu, Dr. Tony Kenneth, Dr. Glenis Maria Mendonça, Dr. Roshida Rodriguez, Ms. Avani Sabade, Ms. Aditi Singh, thank you. With this, we come to an end of the felicitation ceremony. And now, at the very end of the Desmet Demarnev Memorial Annual National Conference 2022-23, it's time for us to express our gratitude to everyone who have been part of this event. I now call upon Lijo George to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Gratefully remembering the two great stalwarts, Richard Desmet and Jean Demarnev, who had served this institution with utmost dedication and passion, and rightly imbibing their spirit for an intellectual inquiry, indulgence into the existential concerns of our time, and philosophizing. We have spent these 2 days delving into the deep intricacies regarding food, dietary, and the gastronomical or the customary culinary concerns of our nation or at large. As we come to the closure of these significant hours, I represent the organizing committee, Dr. V. Sebastian and Dr. Clement J. Santanam, and would like to propose our sincere gratitude to all those persons who have directly or indirectly contributed to this Desmet Demarnev Annual Memorial Conference 2022-23 on Food Politics in India, organized by Jnanadeepa Faculty of Philosophy, Pune. At the very onset, thanking the divine providence that guides us and continues to guide us, I would like to start by thanking the President of Jnanadeepa, Professor Dr. Francis Gonsalves, for his valuable words of encouragement and for his constant guidance and support. Thank you, Doctor. In a special way, I do gratefully remember Professor Dr. Nishant Erudadasan, the Dean of the Faculty of Philosophy, for his contribution, collaboration, and for having helped us out in various ways. Thank you, dear father. A very special thanks to our registrar, Professor Dr. Peter Ignatius, and the treasurer, Mr. Claudius Tauro, for having taken care of all our material and financial needs. In a very special way, I do personally take this opportunity to thank Dr. V. Sebastian, the chairperson of the organizing committee, who meticulously crafted out this pertinent theme, and thus provided ample opportunity for our students to philosophize and engage in meaningful dialogue. Thank you, dear Dr. Sebastian. On behalf of the organizing committee and the staff of Jnanadeepa Faculty of Philosophy, I do extend a heartfelt gratitude to the honorable keynote speaker, Dr. Amarendra Pandey, for readily accepting our invitation and for enlightening us with your simple and powerful insights and various interventions. Thank you, dear doctor. I do also extend our sincere thanks to all our presenters, starting from Father Dr. Nishant Erudadasan, Dr. V. Sebastian, Dr. Asim Siddiqui, Dr. Kurubula Pandikatu, Dr. Tony Kenneth, Dr. Roshida Rodriguez, Dr. Glenis Maria Mendonça, Ms. Aditi Singh, and Ms. Avani Sabade for having come all the way to Pune and for sharing the fruit of your intellectual inquiry and research through impressive and lively presentation. Thank you all. In a similar way, our gratitude also goes to Dr. Ananda Kumar Giri, Dr. Anirban Mukherjee, Dr. Alvin D'Souza, Ms. Neha Matthew, and Ms. Praveen Agnello D'Souza for having presented their papers online and for having engaged in interesting discussions via Zoom. Thank you, dear presenters, for your participation, contribution, and collaboration. I would like to thank Dr. Henry D. Almeida, who introduced both Richard Desmet and Jean de Marneffe to us, and also Dr. Tony, Mr. Lindsay Lobo, Mr. Andrew, Mr. Ryan, Mr. Sandeep, and Mr. Dhoni for moderating the different sessions and panel discussions. Together with them, I would also like to thank Mr. Aaron, Mr. Joshua, Mr. Princeton, and Mr. Savio for emceeing the different sessions. Thank you all. Our sincere thanks to Dr. Victor Sahayam Esviri, the director of Ishwani Kendra, and Dr. Thomas Tulikulam, the moderator and manager of PG Block, for helping us out with the accommodation for the presenters. Our sincere thanks also to Professor Dr. Dinesh Braganza, Mr. Vinod and his team for all the technical assistance and especially for having helped us out with the live streaming. Thank you, Father. A very special thanks to the different committee members of this conference, starting from the designing team, stage, PowerPoint, and sound management committee, choir team, registration, reception, and refreshment committees that comprise an active collaboration and hard work of more than 50 students, both from the post-graduation and undergraduation programs. A heartfelt thanks and appreciation to you all, our dear students. Last but not the least, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to the faculty staff, visiting faculty, students, and participants, both present here as well as those who are following us through live streaming, for your active participation and questions. Thank you, one and all. Now, I just leave space for Dr. B. Sebastian to share some words. Thank you all.
Thank you, Lijo. Wonderful. I'm here to thank in a very, very special way Clement and Lijo, who did all the hard work, because I'm technologically challenged. So all the works are done by these people, two of them. I owe very, very special thanks to them. And there are many others whom I would like to thank. Dinesh, very specially. He's a very kind person, very sensitive. And also to President for his support, for Dean of the faculty, and all the students, all the committee members, volunteers, Vinu, and very difficult, challenging jobs. So I'm very grateful to all of you, all the presenters, to Amarendra, to all of you. Very, very heartfelt thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for the vote of thanks. With this, we come to the close of the Desmet de Marneffe Memorial Annual National Conference 2022-23. Thank you, one and all.